We don't get to choose how our partner connects, but we do get to choose how we respond. So if you want to dance effortlessly with anyone, anywhere, it's super helpful to understand the different ways dancers approach partnered communication, commonly called lead and follow or initiation and response, and some might just call it simply dancing together. Now, there is so much on this topic that we could talk about, but in this video, we're just going to focus on the two most common approaches to lead and follow that we've experienced. And by the end, the goal is to set you up to get some even better dances than you're already enjoying. I'm going to pull up a complete lesson from our online dance school. It's part of a module about better partnering. And this lesson focuses on the difference between what we call the frame method and the shape changing method. By understanding both, you'll be better equipped for the social dance floor. Before I pull up the whole lesson, I do want to mention we've included some follow-along drills so you can try the exercises with us. If you're not in a position to dance at this moment, just skip through those parts and continue to the next lecture. We kept the drills simple to ensure that you can understand the concepts regardless of your experience level. But if you are experienced, I wouldn't assume that you're going to fully understand the difference in the way these things feel by simply watching. So when you do have time, I hope you have an opportunity to practice this stuff. Let's get started.
In this video, we're going to be working on better understanding two very different approaches to leading and following moves or initiating and responding.
When you get out on the social dance floor, you're really going to feel a combination of these two things or very extremes of these two things we're going to show you. So we're going to start with a little demonstration before we get into the drills. And we have some drills set up that will go through the same dance steps, for example, using the two different approaches so we can better understand what we might experience on the social dance floor, and you can choose what you want to use when you dance with your partner. So this is primarily based on the idea, let's say I'm leading and initiating moves, Sarah's following and responding to them. If Sarah gives me a frame, a stiff sort of tightness to her body, then I can use that to push and pull her through space. So if we have a simple dance step which goes backwards and forwards and she gives me a frame, then I can push on that and pull on that and we can get the dance step to happen. Now, while I push and pull, I could stand here and push and pull. I could move my body. I've got a lot of choices as a leader on what I do through this motion, but for Sarah, she's providing this stiff, rigid frame so that I can have control over the leading and following moves. Now, the alternative approach to a framed approach, and these names are heavily based on the way the responder is responding, is a shape-changing approach. That means that as we go back and forth, Sarah is going from this shape here to that shape there. And we're using this movement throughout the dance step of going back and forward. Now, to understand shape change is movement. If, for example, if we're standing here and we change the shape of our body, we could say, you're moving. Or if we don't shape change, we might be able to say, you're not moving. So this idea that if we're trying to dance, which is move our body to music, then shape changing is the thing we're really trying to go for as much of, so it feels like we're really moving and dancing to music. So these two approaches, if you watch Sarah give me some frame, I can get the dance step done by pushing and pulling her body. And as it gets faster, I need to push and pull stronger. And as it gets slower, push and pull softer. Now, when we use the shape change approach, you'll notice Sarah's not holding a static frame, but there's a lot of energy and explosiveness in her body. And because it goes into this shape, it's going to want to go into a new shape. And by getting into preparatory positions, this is how we create flow. This shape right here, if we have a frame, is not really ready to do anything specific. And we can kind of do anything at any time, turn here and then go forward. And so there's a lot less flow implied, but a lot more possibilities because you're just kind of neutralized the whole time. So these are two contrasting approaches. Sarah and I do our best to use a shape-changing approach because we really like the look of shape change. And
for me as a follower, I feel like I have more control over the experience.
Yeah, and instead of looking like this, when the leader is removed from, like, let's say the picture, you're actually going to look like you're doing some dance steps with your whole body. Now, there are pros and cons to both of these approaches. So it's not like one is necessarily better universally than the other, but what we understand is when we partner up, if I ask Sarah to dance and she does that, I'm like, ooh, okay, I need to actually move her body through the positions, because if I just move my body, nothing's necessarily going to happen like if we had a shape-changing approach. So this is going to help us sort of understand what the options are. It will help you understand more about how we approach dancing and how you might see other people approach dancing, give you the option to choose, and also be a little bit more adjustable on the social dance floor. So let's get into the exercises now that we kind of understand the two approaches.
Let's get into our first exercise.
We're going to be using that rock step back and forward example that we did in the intro to this video. If you watch for a moment, we're going to set our weight with 5, 6, 7. We use a shape-changing approach with this upper body twist.
6,
and then Sarah's going to frame up for the second 8 count, after which
1, 2,
she's holding tension. I will push and pull with my arm. And then we go back to this shape-changing approach for our wind down. All right, let's try that all together.
5, 6, 5,
upper body twist,
7, 8.
Moving out and in from each other, pushing and pulling, framing up,
8,
moving
2,
more of the arm, holding the body tension,
6,
and releasing
7,
into
8,
shape
1,
change.
2, 3.
And then we'll reset. Very cool. So a lot of what's going to change here is primarily in the way Sarah is responding on the second 8 count. And then leads, you could continue to use movement, or you can just push and pull with your arm. Either one of those is fine. Let's pull up our drill and try this together. Let's partner up and try this drill.
Five, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset. So by now you should be seeing how these two approaches change the feel and the look of your partner dancing. The frame method feels a bit more controlling, while the shape changing requires each dancer to sort of move their own body in relation to the flow. Both have pros and cons, but what I'm curious to know is which one do you naturally gravitate towards? Can you imagine situations where one might be more advantageous than the other? If so, comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Now, the next step is we're going to apply these ideas to a simple dance pattern using our easy swing technique. Let's check it out.
Let's get into our next exercise.
We're going to be applying what we just did with the rock steps, but to some actual dance moves in a combination you're familiar with. Take a look as we demonstrate. We set our weight, we have a sugar push,
1, 2, 3, 4,
and then we have a tuck turn,
2, 4, 5, 6,
and
1, 2,
a pass to the other side,
5,
after
6,
which
1.
we repeat the combination. Now the first round, we're going to go through using a framed up approach, and the second round, we're going to go through using shape change, which is the way we've trained everything up until this point. So it'll feel very familiar for the second round. Now, if we look at the rock steps for a second and you watch, Sarah
1, 2,
holding tension
3, 4,
in her frame,
6,
whether
7,
I move her backwards
8, 1,
or forwards
2, 3,
or twist
4,
her and
5,
prep the
6,
tuck turn,
7,
everything is
8,
about moving
1.
the frame through space in the direction that the moves have been practiced. So when we get to this other side that we're going to release that tension out of Sarah's body, and she's going to start working through the shape changes that we've practiced. So sugar push, tuck turn, pass, holding frame. When we get to the other side, sugar push, tuck turn, pass, using shape change primarily for the followers. This is where the big change is going to happen. All right, let's do this to counts all together and we'll call it out. Here we go.
5, 6,
Set the weight,
5,
followers
6,
frame
7,
up,
8,
leaders
1,
take the
2,
hand,
3, 4, 5,
tuck
6,
turn,
1, 2,
hold that
3,
frame
4,
for the followers,
5, 6,
pull
1,
through
2,
here,
3,
release
4,
the tension,
5,
shape
6, 1,
change,
2, 3, 4,
prep the
5,
hips,
6, 1,
twist
2,
the hips
3,
through,
4,
lower
5,
body twist
6,
for the
1,
followers,
2, 3, 4,
and then
5,
wind down,
6,
stop.
1, 2, 3.
Reset.
5, 6,
Set the weight,
5,
followers
6,
frame
7,
up,
8,
leaders
1,
take the
2,
hand,
3, 4, 5,
tuck,
6,
turn,
1, 2,
hold that
3,
frame
4,
for the followers,
5, 6,
pull
1,
through
2,
here,
3,
release
4,
the tension,
5,
shape,
6, 1,
change,
2, 3, 4,
prep the
5,
hips,
6, 1,
twist
2,
the hips
3,
through,
4,
lower
5,
body twist
6,
for the
1,
followers,
2, 3, 4,
and then
5,
wind down,
6,
stop.
1, 2, 3.
Reset. Nice. So the main thing you're going to really notice is a big difference in the feel and the stiffness, because with a frame you have a little bit less shape change and movement. Now, which one of these approaches feels better for you, you will find out. But once again, Sarah and I are really training to get that shape change approach because it creates a nicer style, in our opinion, and also a more relaxed feel, and also more power and scalability to fast music. Now we're going to pull up our drill. Do your best to contrast the two examples and succeed at the moves at the same time. Let's try it out. Let's partner up and try this drill out.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset.
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Reset. Now that you've seen or even felt both of these styles in action, you'll have the awareness to recognize which approach your partner might be using, and then you can adjust accordingly. Now, the best dancers are not stuck in one method. They know how to adapt. And if you and your partner are both familiar with these ideas, you can switch the system to the most advantageous one for the moment, which could be super useful. Now, up next, you'll see how we can switch back and forth and make these adjustments. Let's check it out. Let's just do a quick recap on how this is going to help you with partner dancing moving forward. If Sarah and I take the rock step, for example, if we go for a shape-changing approach and Sarah changes and frames up, I could recognize that and I respond. Now I know I need to allow for her to go backwards, or I also need to take responsibility for moving her through space more. Then she could go back to matching my shape change, and then I do a little bit less pushing and pulling and a little bit more moving up my body. Now, if I start moving my hand forward and backwards as if I'm trying to move Sarah through space, she can respond by framing up. Think of it kind of like these as two languages, and if we start speaking the other language on one side, then you have a responsibility on either side of the partnership to start compensating for that. Keeping in mind that our goal would be to succeed with the dance step. Sorry to interrupt, but I just mentioned that if our goal was to succeed with the dance step, then we would behave a certain way. We get into detail on what exactly that means in another video we posted called Matching versus Adjusting, where we talk about matching each other and just getting the truth out of what's happening versus adjusting so that the dance step we're working on or that we think should be happening succeeds. So if you haven't watched that video, that would be very useful to combine with this video to get a better understanding of everything. All right, sorry to interrupt. Let's get back to it. So how do we use this moving forward? Now, there's a few ways to practice this. You can take a communication agreement, for example, like I'm going to lead some moves and Sarah's going to be in charge of changing the system we're using. Okay. So I'll just do send out, bring back, and I feel her frame up. So I'm compensating in order to succeed. Oh, there's some body movement. Now I go into some shape change. Boom, and I feel her frame up. So she's making sort of these changes that I am trying to still succeed at the send out and bring back while she makes those changes and make sure that the move doesn't fail because she frames up or something like that. Now, we could change the communication agreement and I can move to more of an arm lead, or I want to move you through space, and then she could respond with some framing, and then you can talk about that. Start to practice this and use this for all your different moves, and you will start to get a feel for the type of connection that you and your partner really enjoy creating. And then also when social dancing, the type of compensation or the type of adjusting you might need to do individually to match your partner who does not have the desire or skills to, let's say, change up the system, or they're maybe not aware of this stuff yet. Very cool. All right, it's time to play some of your own music, get into some training, and we'll see you in the next video. Now that we've worked with both of these approaches and you better understand the nuances that go into making both of the systems work, it's time to hit the social dance floor and experiment a little bit. Just remember that there isn't one tool that's going to guarantee a great dance. That's going to only come from making great decisions. And tools like this just make it a little bit easier to get there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already. And when you're ready, check out the free trial to our online dance school at rhythmjuice.com, where we have online courses, coaching, and community for swing, Lindy Hop, and solo jazz dancers seeking rapid improvement. Until then, cheers, keep swinging.